Riverdale is the CW's take of the long-running Archie comic book series. Now that the series' first season is officially over, we're here to answer the question: is it worth binge watching? The show begins in the small town of Riverdale, as the narrator recalls what happened on the day of Jason Blossom's death. Jason was a high school star athlete, and the town's golden boy. The entire season is basically set up like a murder mystery, as everyone tries to figure out who killed Jason Blossom. I'll start this review out by saying that I haven't read the comics, so I'm judging this purely from the perspective of a person who has only seen the show. Anyways, the plot has a group of friends, Archie, Betty, Veronica, Jughead, and Kevin, navigate the elements of high school alongside the murder mystery. Stuff like relationships, issues with parents, and social life are all there. And the success of these other elements is mixed. Most of the music subplots were underwhelming, particularly with Archie and the school band Josie and the Pussycats. They were virtually irrelevant to the main storyline, and they felt cliche. The main character choosing between music and football, a list being spread around by the jocks. These were realistic plot points, but they've also been done before. Despite these complaints, I still think that the plot works as an overall package. While nothing in this plot is particularly unique or groundbreaking, it's still addictive, it's fun, and there's enough in each episode to keep you wanting more. Now I'll talk a bit about some of the characters. So we'll start with the most boring one, which just happens to be the main character, Archie Andrews. Now while everyone's out there solving murder mysteries, dealing with shitty parents, and having more interesting personalities, Archie's just kind of, well, Archie. Almost every Archie plotline either comes across as irrelevant, boring, or both. And while the goal may have been to give the audience an everyman to relate to, they could have done that without making him a cardboard cutout of a character. KJ Apa, who plays Archie, also plays his role about as well as Kristen Stewart did in Twilight. Even in the scenes where he's supposed to show emotion, his face usually falls flat. Next there's Betty Cooper, who's played by Lily Reinhart. Betty's a typical straight-A goody two-shoes who doesn't really like confrontation. While I also thought Betty was boring at times, they still develop her character to a degree in the series. She slowly becomes more confident and assertive as everything unfolds around her. She also develops a bit of a dark side which appears at certain times in the series, and I really hope is explored in future seasons. As for a more interesting character, we have Veronica Lodge, who is played by Camila Mendes. Veronica moved into Riverdale at the start of the series after her rich dad was arrested. She ends up being one of its breakout stars, and for good reason.
Eventually there will be a reckoning. Or maybe that reckoning is now, and maybe that reckoning is me. Betty and I come as a matching set. You want one, you take us both. You wanted fire? Sorry, Cheryl Bombshell. My specialty's ice.
She's smart, she's confident, and most of all, she's entertaining. She serves as a nice contrast to Betty's more reserved personality. Before moving to Riverdale, Veronica was a mean girl, but she's trying to change that. And while self-interest still controls a lot of what she does,
What's happening out there? Do we know? Is it about me?
she really does try to be a good person. But her dialogue can honestly be cringeworthy. Dialogue is an issue that the show struggles with,
Archie's Efron-esque emergence from the chrysalis of puberty.
but Veronica is by far the worst offender. I swear, they're all 15-year-olds in the show, but they all talk like they're 50.
Honestly, I feel like I'm wandering through the lost epilogue of our town. I am going scorched earth on these privileged, despicable miscreants. Guys, can't we just liberate ourselves from the tired dichotomy of jock, artist? Can't we, in this post-James Franco world, be all things at once? But luckily, I've been percolating on an idea.
Next we have Cheryl Blossom, who's played by Madeline Petch.
Where's the heat? Where's the sizzle?
Well, you haven't seen our big finish yet. Don't freak out, just trust me.
Check your sell-by date, ladies. Faux lesbian kissing hasn't been taboo since 1994. So let's see if you do better with the interview portion of our audition.
And she's the sister of Jason Blossom. Now, she's very similar to Veronica, character-wise, only unlike trying to be a good person, Cheryl's a bitch. And being the head bitch in charge, she's mean to just about everyone, and she ends up being a character you love to hate. At least in the beginning. But over time, her character becomes more layered. We learn more about her home life, her social life, and why she acts the way she does. Out of everyone, I'd say Cheryl got the most character development, and she ended up being one of my favorites by the end of the series. Lastly, Jughead Jones is also a very central character to the show. He's very poor, and he grew up in a pretty crappy living situation. Both of his parents are also the worst. His father is an alcoholic, and his mother left him. He's also a bookworm and a writer. He's played by Cole Sprouse. But Cole does a really good job in this role, playing a believable character who goes through the most angst in the series. And then there's Kevin. Now, Kevin is a part of the main group and plays the role of the gay best friend. But that's pretty much all there is to him. He's only ever defined by sexuality and doesn't really gain a personality outside of that. The parents in the show, excluding Archie's parents and Veronica's mom, can basically be described in 3 words. They're the worst. All of them are either batshit insane, like Alice Cooper, or treat their kids with absolutely no respect. The production quality of the show is good. I mean, really good. I would even say that it's the best part about the show, hands down. The editing and the whole noir aesthetic really fits the series, and it looks awesome. Overall, the series definitely has its faults, ranging from some weak characters like Archie, some boring subplots, and poor dialogue. But there are also some good things about the show, like the production value, the chemistry of the cast, and the intrigue of the murder mystery. This probably isn't going to be a show that'll make you think about the human condition, but then again, I don't really think it has to. This is one of those shows that you watch purely for fun, flaws and all. And despite all of its flaws, I still found myself waiting each week to figure out what happened to the cast of Riverdale. I'm gonna give the show a rating of okay. I would recommend the show if you're looking for a show that isn't too heavy. A show that you can kind of just have some fun watching. If you like teen dramas, I think there's a good chance you'll also enjoy Riverdale.
Follow me on Twitter and I'll do the same. My handle is @CherylBombshell.